Hello. Welcome back. So, welcome to the week ahead for December 23rd. This is going to cover the Christmas period for those of you who are celebrating Christmas. And we will go over the ephemera in just a minute. I wanted to let you guys know that if you're interested in hearing my music, it's going to be played on nettnettradio on my friend's show Pre-Mirrors. So you can check out the website nettnettradio.com for more details, and I'll put a link down in the description. What is this? What is this in your hair? It's kind of stuck. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Rough week, huh? Let me brush your hair. Let's just tidy it up a bit. Is that okay? Okay. Yeah. Go around the back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. Here, I'm just gonna pull it back in a ponytail. Yeah, it's okay. It happens to the best of us, really. But another fun thing that happened for me this week is that I finally got a face shield. And I've been excited about that for a long time. Like, a long time ago I wanted a face shield before any of this even started. And now finally you can get PPE on the market readily available. But I don't have it here with me right now. So we're just gonna have to pretend. But basically it's like it's got like a little headpiece like this, and then you put it over your head, and but it's a really great option. Even if you choose to wear a face mask, you can still wear. I have so many allergies. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, let's get into the ephemera. I'm still gonna do candle stuff today, but we're gonna do it a little bit differently this time. I am recording this on Yule, the winter solstice. Sun is entering Capricorn today, and then actually Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct in Aquarius, like right now, like right when I'm recording this. Well, it's Monday the 21st. But we're going to talk about the week ahead for December 23rd through the 30th. Okay. So, starting out on the 23rd, Mars in Aries, and the moon is also in Aries. And Chiron's in Aries as well. So, a lot of fire energy, Mars, Moon, and Chiron all conjunct, can be about healing, emotions, and action. This is a prevailing energy with all of those planets in Aries, a beginning to all those things. We have some squares. So Pluto is still in Capricorn, and Mars and the moon in Aries are both going to be squaring that position. So that can be, squares are like a very tough angle. It's almost as tough as a opposition, but this is going to be possibly related to something hidden at work coming to light for some of you. And then Mercury in Capricorn is also going to be squaring Chiron in Aries. So Mercury in Capricorn, communication at work. So the Pluto square is going to occur like in the morning and early afternoon, but this should all be cleared up by the evening when Mercury squares Chiron in Aries. That's going to be about the communication having to do with this whole situation. Okay, Christmas Eve, Thursday the 24th. First of all, there's going to be an opportune period today. So on that day, the moon is going to be conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. That's either going to be around 5 p.m. or 8 p.m., depending on if you're on either one of the United States coasts. That's when the OP is going to start. And then on Saturday, the moon is going to enter Gemini at around 3:30 or 6:30 in the evening. And that's when the opportune period is going to be over. So you're going to get a good long opportune period, and it's a good time to try something out of the ordinary. So a Christmas out of the ordinary for some of you. We kind of celebrate Christmas. It's more like celebrating Christmas by proxy. Like, I celebrate it because like family and friends are celebrating it. So, back to Christmas Eve, Thursday the 24th. Moon's going to be in Taurus starting kind of early in the morning, the wee hours. Moon in Taurus is going to be squaring Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. Those are those two fixed sign energies. You've got air and you've got earth there, square to each other. So everybody's talking about the expansion properties. The Saturn in Aquarius is kind of a tough placement because Saturn's very like established, like very much about the status quo, inertia, carrying motion rather than directed accelerative motion. But Jupiter being about expansion and both of those things being in Aquarius, right? So the moon in Taurus squaring that could be something about possessions or finances. And it can be hidden things related to those things or things that have been obscured. It can also be about emotional states surrounding those things, but in this case I think it's more about like hidden things coming to light. Can also be about the arts and finance. And so as we have Jupiter and Saturn now moving kind of out of that conjunction, they're touching right now, moving out of that conjunction and squaring this position, you're going to see these things kind of as they relate to your professional life, possibly. And Aquarius being this energy of new ideas. It's a very like iconoclastic groupthink kind of an energy. So that's going to be coming through as well. We have a few trines. We've got the sun is in Capricorn and Mercury is in Capricorn. And both of those are going to be trining the moon in Taurus. So, again, finances in the arts, hidden finances, things like that. Sun in Capricorn is just your natural Capricorn energy, using the things in your environment to benefit you. And Mercury being communication, can also be short distance travel, can also be sometimes related to new ideas, learning, and concepts, but not necessarily higher education, like the ninth house or Sagittarius energy. So, could be some communication about professional matters leading to an increase in finances in the area of the arts, possibly, or something hidden coming through. And then there's another trine between Uranus in Taurus and Mercury in Capricorn. So again, Mercury in Capricorn can be communication or short distance travel, like running errands type stuff, related to a career, using the things around you to benefit you. And Uranus then coming in, so we were talking about Aquarius energy is very similar to Uranus energy. These things don't all like equate one another, but they are kind of in the same category. So Uranus being, again, that iconoclast and groupthink. And so there could be a situation which, especially because like the moon and Uranus will have just conjunct in Taurus. We already talked about that opportune period. So then you have this energy coming in where there might be communication surrounding work about finances. Could be a distribution of finances, could be like, how are we going to handle 401ks going to the new year, all kinds of stuff. Christmas. So Christmas Day, the 25th, some of you on the East Coast are going to be experiencing that trine between Mercury in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus early on the morning of the 25th. There's going to be quincunx between the moon in Taurus and Venus in Sagittarius. So Venus in Sagittarius, that can be about finances also, especially if you work in academia, if you are looking at travel for business. Venus doesn't just govern love, but that's her primary function. So again, moon in Taurus could be emotional things surrounding money too. And that being a quincunx, there's probably some action involved. We've got a sextile too, and that sextile is between the moon in Taurus and Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces energy, that sextile is going to be a really favorable aspect. And it could open up a lot of possibilities. So we could be talking about hidden finances here, hidden sources of new income. And Neptune can have to do with your spirituality, psychic attunement. Neptune in Pisces is Neptune in its native sign. So that is also positive. And it's been there for a while, so, you know. And then finally, on Christmas Day, we've got a square between Sun in Capricorn and Chiron in Aries. Now, Capricorn is kind of a mature energy, and Aries can be kind of a immature energy in that it's the energy of starting things. So this is kind of a tough aspect just because of that. But then you're looking at Chiron energy too. You're going to get the opportunity to kind of fix some things possibly here. Again, Capricorn, utilizing the things around you to benefit yourself. So, and Chiron being the healer. So there could be a start to healing, or there could be a healing of like immature things about yourself, or starting things and not finishing them. But it could be as it relates specifically to being able to utilize things in your environment. Next, we're going to look at Saturday, the 26th. So, Moon is going to enter Gemini, but before it does, there's a square between the Moon in Taurus and Pluto in Capricorn. And again, we've talked about Pluto in Capricorn is like a very, I know I've called it like Schrodinger's cat type energy before, where like Pluto sometimes is a planet, sometimes isn't a planet. And so there's kind of it's not like nebulous, but an undefined nature there. So because things are undefined, then as far as what the resources surrounding you are, it can be, that can be good and bad. If it's not clearly defined, you can always ask forgiveness rather than permission. And with this Moon in Taurus energy, again, like hidden finance, emotional things surrounding finance, and then also Moon governs the arts as well. So don't forget about that. And then once the Moon enters Gemini, it's going to be trining Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn first and then Jupiter. So looking at those trines, Moon in Gemini is communication, can be emotional communication. Gemini can also have to do with siblings, close family members that are like your age, so like siblings and cousins, people that you're very close to. So it could be emotional matters concerning that, or hidden things coming to light, but more probably like emotional matters. And then again, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius is a very like iconoclastic energy that's simultaneously about expansion, but also about concrete things, pulling things out of the ether and making them concrete and established. Sunday, we've got early in the morning, we've got a sextile between Chiron in Aries and the Moon in Gemini. So again, this can be communication with close siblings or emotional communication with someone else. It can also have to do with just like communications with a close peer group as well. And Chiron in Aries, maybe you said something in haste that you didn't mean. It can get patched up. But again, this is like a really early morning energy, so it may or may not be something you even notice. We also have quincunx between Sun and Mercury in Capricorn with that Moon in Gemini. So again, that can be an action-oriented energy. And Mercury and Gemini are in the same category. So it can be about using things around yourself for your benefit as it relates to close family members, emotional communications, hidden communications. And that being a quincunx, it's like an action energy. And that's going to be, so out here on the West Coast, the quincunx with the Sun in Capricorn is going to be at around 4 a.m. And then that quincunx with Mercury in Capricorn is going to be around 1:30 in the afternoon. So you've got a pretty wide window there as far as when all of these things are going to be taking place. for all of that energy to kind of unfold. Excuse me. We've got a trine between the Sun in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. So again, very iconoclastic energy. This trine is going to be really favorable in working things out with a group of people. Could be career related, could also just be like if you were, it's kind of the energy of like if you were starting a small business with a group of your friends, that kind of energy. And then the last thing that's going to happen on Sunday, as far as the ephemera is concerned, there's going to be an opposition between the moon in Gemini and Venus in Sagittarius. And that is going to be late at night for us on the West Coast, but it's going to be early in the morning of Monday the 28th for those of you on the East Coast of the United States. So again, Venus in Sagittarius energy can be about finance, but it can also be about love, especially if there is a spiritual connection between you and another person. And so that moon in Gemini, it could be somebody that you grew up with. It could be just a very close energy, somebody who's very close to you, almost like a sibling, but not a sibling. But this could also be related to if and the opposition is going to be like a pretty intense energy. Opposition and square and stuff like that. It doesn't always mean that it's going to be bad. It's just that there's like a lot of energetic tension there because it's such a strong positioning. Conjunction, though, is strong, but it's like close together. But opposition is like, you know, these things are kind of like opposites, and so sometimes opposites attract, but sometimes opposites butt heads. I also wanted to mention Saturday is going to be when Kwanzaa begins, and it's also going to be Boxing Day in Canada and United Kingdom. So if you want, I would really like to hear what different holidays all of you celebrate during the winter months. So if you want to drop the holiday that you're celebrating in the comments below, I would really appreciate it. I kind of just celebrate the end of the year, giving presents. We already kind of gave each other presents. I already sent presents to my kid, and yeah. I love hearing from you guys, so let me know. But also on Monday the 28th, we're going to have a square between Moon in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces. So again, like Neptune in Pisces, very intuition oriented, kind of can have to do with spirituality too. And could be related to this opposition with Venus and Sagittarius, strangely enough, because Sagittarius is also about like spiritual matters. But that's going to be different for each of you. We also have a quincunx between Moon in Gemini and Pluto in Capricorn. And again, Pluto in Capricorn can be about resources that they can be hidden resources, but they can also be resources that you're not sure whether or not they're available to use. And sometimes the best way to handle something is just to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. And a quincunx, and especially with it happening, it's going to be kind of in the afternoon, early evening period that this is going to be occurring. There could be an action that's taking place. And it could be with this close family member, or it could be with, you know, communication as well. And finally, on Monday, we have a sextile between Mars in Aries and the moon in Gemini, and that's going to tie everything up. That's going to spark that action. Mars in Aries is just a very active, aggressive kind of energy. So that'll kickstart whatever all of this earlier moon in Gemini energy has been about. Tuesday the 29th, we have a full moon, and it's going to be in Cancer. So the moon's going to enter Cancer early in the morning of Tuesday the 29th. You're going to have quincunx placements between Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius and the moon in Cancer. Moon is native to Cancer, and it's all about emotional energy having to do with the home and with the emotions that you reciprocate with other people, the way that your emotions and the emotions of others interact. And again, quincunx, there could be some kind of action involved. That's going to start kind of in the morning. So it could be kind of early in the morning, but it could also be closer to mid-morning for some of you. Again, depending on the US coast, if you live in America. And with the Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius energies and the moon in Cancer, there could be some kind of, like, are you deciding to move your house? Are you building onto the house? Are you investing in a new item that is like an appliance or something like that? It could be a lot of those things. It could even be like if a child is planning to move out and start their own life. That kind of an energy. We have a square between Moon in Cancer and Chiron in Aries. So that can kind of wrap up all of those energies. As far as Chiron in Aries being healing, but also about beginnings. And again, it's a square, so there's going to be a lot of tension there. And then we've got a sextile with Uranus in Taurus and the moon in Cancer. So this can be about joint possessions within the home and how those are delegated. And then finally on Tuesday, the 29th, we're going to have an opposition between the sun and the moon, which is typical for full moon. And Cancer and Capricorn are very opposite kind of signs. Capricorn can be kind of cold and analytical, but also just very like practically minded. And Cancer is a very emotionally minded sign. And so there's a big range there of all the signs that are directly in opposition with each other. Like, I'm a Leo, so the sign directly opposite me is Aquarius, right? And I actually have a lot of friends who are Aquarian, and I really enjoy their energy. But Cancer and Capricorn are very, like, emotionally opposite. So in a way that I don't feel like a lot of other astrological signs are. Virgo and Pisces, I think, are pretty opposite as well. Anyway, we're back around to Wednesday. So what we have Wednesday, early in the morning, we've got a square between Venus and Sagittarius and Neptune and Pisces. So again, this being intuitive energies. Venus and Sagittarius could be a passionate energy, but it could also be related to finance in some ways. And could be about long distance travel, could be a long distance relationship matters. Neptune in Pisces, again, intuitive matters. So there might be, it's kind of the energy of like if you're in a long distance relationship and you have a gut feeling that like they're talking to other people behind your back. Next on Wednesday, we have an opposition then between the moon in Cancer and Mercury in Capricorn. So emotional communication, but with a practical mind to it. Like, I feel like, or like, going back to that example, this isn't working for me anymore. It doesn't make sense for me to tolerate that if we're already long distance and, there's probably better options for me that are closer. That's just one example, though. There's a lot of situations that could apply to. We have a trine between Moon in Cancer and Neptune in Pisces. So that's a good watery trine energy to be floating around in emotionally, psychically speaking. Your intuition will probably be lighting up, and that's going to be early to mid-afternoon on Wednesday the 30th. And then the final thing that we'll be closing out the week with is a Moon in Cancer quincunx to Venus in Sagittarius. So bringing all of that full circle, and some kind of action occurring. Now, we're going to be doing the candle part. And like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing it a little bit differently today. So this is frankincense and myrrh oil from the Crooked Path. Yeah, it smells really good. My creaky bed. Sorry about that. And today I'm going to be using this basin of water, and we're going to drip the candle wax in there. And I'm going to put just a little bit of oil to float on the top. Yeah, just a few drops. And seal that up. Get out this purple candle. Your candle doesn't have to be special, because you're special. So before we get started, I want you guys to just send your intentions into the candle, right? What do you want to know? What do you want to see? What about your future is uncertain or that you want to know more about? Okay. Yeah. Cool. You're gonna light it. I don't know what I'm gonna do when this Grateful Dead lighter runs out of fluid. I don't know where to get another one. Alright. And drip the wax disappear into the water without extinguishing the flame. And this can be a form of hypnotic suggestion too. It's really the secret to scrying, is the hypnotic suggestion element in getting your mind to open to the possibilities that are already around you. I'm gonna let a fair amount of this candle burn down. Probably not the whole thing. I think you could probably reuse the candle for the next time. But we're not gonna read it right now. I'm gonna save the reading for the end after I've done the scrying. And I might even empty the water out, make it easier to read the clumps of wax. But just keep thinking about all the things that you want to get rid of moving into the new year, and also the things that you want to bring in. Be thinking about that consciously, thinking about the elements of your life that you want to tweak and improve in 2021. Manifesting a better future, bringing in those things, fostering them in your life, making room for them. That's a big part. That's why I'm always encouraging you to let go of things that no longer serve you, because you're making room for new things to come in, new energies. Right. I think we're pretty close to the stopping point for this. Alright. And now I can just put this off to the side. And this little basin of water. It's very lovely and fragrant with that frankincense and myrrh oil in there. Alright, Aries, let's talk about your week ahead, the 23rd through the 30th of December. So I have your scrying stone for today is a black moonstone. And I'm going to see if I can actually shine a light through this parts of it, so parts of the edge. What do I need to tell Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? Beat the opposition by what? You're standing on new ground. Standing on new ground, and you're going to beat the opposition through your innovation. So, back in the ephemera, we were talking a bit about some placements. Let me see if I can pinpoint that a little better for you. Yeah, there's some placements with like Capricorn energies and when the moon is in Gemini. And yeah, that moon in Gemini, you're going to get a couple of sextile placements with that. And that was occurring, that's on Sunday the 27th and Monday the 28th. So that'll be when those placements are coming through. Battalion, spaceship, somebody a sci-fi buff? What is that about? Yeah, you equate extraterrestrial intervention with angelic guidance. So to you, it's kind of like one and the same. These energies coming together. And it seems as though there will be several opportunities for you to put that into practice. Put your praxis into practice. Because they're giving you a lot of messages right now. And yeah, like, so a lot of you, like I was saying, you don't differentiate between angelic versus extraterrestrial as long as the vibration is high and pure. So that's going to be kind of the gist of this week, is just that you're going to be getting these high, pure, divine messages. And it will be granting you an edge over the competition. But you've got extra work to do because of that. In order to put yourself like that much further ahead, there's going to be like little extra things that you're going to be instructed to do. And it's going to give you that competitive edge. What else do I need to tell Aries about the week ahead? Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Yeah, dust off your good pair of sneakers. There's going to be a lot of leg work. But, you know, not necessarily in terms of like you're going to have to walk a lot. More like just in the metaphorical sense of like, you know, there's just going to be that much little extra work to do, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Because all these other people, it's not like they're lazy or they're slack, but you can definitely beat them out in whatever this situation is. I do sense that it is competitive somewhat in nature, whether you're all competing for a new job position or whether there's a project and you get awarded prizes for it. Over here on this edge, there's something missing still. You're going to stumble on it this week, but it's going to be Why do I keep thinking? Where is this Uranus in Taurus? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Yeah, the moon is going to be in Aries on Monday the 21st and Tuesday the 22nd. On into, oh, okay, that's today that we're in right now. No. So Wednesday the 23rd and then Thursday the 24th, the moon is going to enter Taurus. I'm not seeing what I feel like I'm looking for here. Hold on. So Chiron in Aries and Uranus in Taurus, even though they don't form a position to each other, the energies are still both there, influencing or predicting rather. So when the moon and Mars and Chiron are all in Aries here on Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly Wednesday, because that's the area that we're covering. But this is like the message that I'm getting. That's why I'm looking through my notes. So the deal is that Aries and Taurus, because they're signs right next to each other, they don't really form a placement to each other. They're very close together. And so in this particular case, there's going to be like energy between Uranus in Taurus and Chiron in Aries that's going to be beneficial to you seeking out the answer to this particular question. And I feel like could also be related to some other. What's going on? New Year's Eve is like next Thursday, not this upcoming week, but next week. The moon's going to be in your fellow fire sign of Leo. And I feel like on Thursday of next week might be when all of this gets tied in together for you, Aries. What else do I need to talk to Aries about for the week ahead? Yeah, so like fire sign energies too. So like that Venus and Sagittarius might have some impact on you. So again, go back to the ephemera at the beginning of the video. I strongly encourage you to listen to all the ephemera, which is why I started doing it at the beginning of the video too, so that it wasn't just split up by sign, because sometimes there are things that are occurring that are going to impact you, but they're not necessarily just related to the sign that they're occurring in. So, yeah, there's like this opposition between the moon in Gemini and Venus in Sagittarius that might also be meaningful for you, and that's going to occur overnight between Sunday the 27th and Monday the 28th. So, what else are we talking about here? Yeah, the innovation. So there's a lot of energy for innovation, especially in business right now. And that's going to impact you positively. And there are several people around you who are going to be instrumental. So it's about this group energy too, and the idea that all of you are going to be coming together to produce results in this particular situation. And what else do I need to tell Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? That's it. That's it for you this week, Aries. Have a great one, and I'll see you again soon. Taurus, 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 Taurus. Let's talk about your week ahead. I'm using black moonstone this time. And sometimes I like to shine a flashlight through the stone so I can see different. Ooh, it's always a hazard, possibility of blinding myself. But I can see deep within the stone if I use a flashlight. Hold on. There's some kind of situation with a girlfriend or it's not necessarily like a girlfriend. This could just be a very close friend too, but it's somebody that you're pretty close with. It's like there's something complicated going on with a lot of intricacy to it. It's not like drama per se. It's more like just a lot of moving pieces. So this could be that you are planning some kind of event that's going to include a lot of people. It could be that there is monetary value to this interaction that they're having with all these other people. It could be that you guys are looking at this person's scheduling, and it's something that you're very good at as a Taurus, but maybe they don't have as tight of a grip on it, or maybe they do just fine, but they've asked for your help in this situation because you have such a predilection for being able to schedule things and have them be you have a predilection for scheduling things, especially as it relates to a person's own health and well-being. So maybe like they've been scheduling things for themselves, but they've been like packing out their schedule, and it is creating issues for them. And you were like, well, here, let's schedule you in some free time here and here, pencil in a 3-hour nap on this day, pencil in this here, blah, 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 and kind of showing them how to like break it up. That could be something that's happening too. It's affecting you in some ways, but it's like good. It's not like bad stuff. Might even be and I see girlfriend, but it could just be like somebody with very feminine energy as well. But I feel like it's somebody with feminine energy. I don't feel like this is like you're not like Patrick Bateman's secretary, I guess. And there's very much like an even, like a parity between you. Like if you were in a relationship, not like a supervisor and an employee. And someone else is here and they're watching you work and seeing how you are able to juggle a whole bunch of things at once and make it all come together smoothly. And it's like they're studying you for tips and pointers. Like, let me pick your brain. But they're not, they're just kind of like passively there and watching and observing you in this situation. And let's see. I'm hearing something about surgery, but I don't think it's you, and I don't think it's this other person. But there could be a situation where someone you know has had surgery and you are providing help to them. You're in a position to help this person get around, or possibly even like taking someone to the grocery store, or there being an event and you're kind of like, you're not like strictly it's like you're their date, but you're more like a companion. It's not like a dating situation. And they will compensate you for this, but not like, I mean, it's possible that you're an escort, but I feel like this could just be a situation where somebody, like I said, has had surgery and they appreciate your help a lot and they're going to compensate you, and that's not necessarily financial compensation. It could be like, I want you to have this really nice crystal, or I bought this and I never use it, and or I never have used it and I think that you would enjoy it. Or a nice bottle of wine. Sometimes that's used as a good thank you, but it's like something of monetary value that they're going to be compensating you with for your help. And yeah, because you're going to be driving them somewhere, possibly. It's a possibility for some of you. I don't think it's going to be for all of you, though. And there were some of you who are working from home. When you were working in an office, there were a lot of people around all the time, and they were always popping in and being like, could you do this for me? Could you do that for me? Could you do this for me? Could you do that for me? And So you are still getting like a lot of emails, but I feel like there's a lot of kind of like casual requests that used to occur at work. Excuse me. That maybe, and it's probably not just like casual requests, but like all these little casual interactions that you used to have with people when you were working in an office. Those have fallen by the wayside. And it's given you more of a feeling of isolation than any of the other aspects of what's been going on. So that it's not even that it's not like you're lonely, but things that you used to really enjoy about your job because you were interacting with these different people and having these, I mean, like the kind of casual stuff where people would just pop into your office. It's not that that's completely stopped, because probably like a few of those people still text and call and stuff. But I feel like a lot of that had tapered off. And so you're starting to see like your different dynamics with people from other angles. And I'm also getting this sense of isolation, like not like loneliness, and not like I feel like you are turning to other sources to find groups with whom you have shared interests. That, like, in your workplace, you were able to interact with people in a way that you were discussing, like, the kind of workplace where you interact with people and share interests, and not the kind of workplace where you go in, you do your 8 hours solid, and then you leave, and you just leave everything there. So not that kind of situation for you, Taurus. But that you're having to, and it could have been related to social settings as well. And I'm feeling some kind of like stomach churning, some kind of just like a tightness in the stomach. And I don't think it's related to my own physiology, although I do deal with that from time to time. This could even be related to that, like finding out that somebody who used to drop into your office all the time has been diagnosed with a serious illness, and it kind of like turns your stomach or something like that, or something happens with an interaction where it goes like sideways and that like twists your stomach. There's going to be something like that possibly coming up this week. Especially a lot of people, I think, are going to be taking time off from work for the holidays. It could even be related to this situation with the surgery. There's going to be some of you who have the one situation I already talked about, and then there's going to be some of you that you have another situation where you find out that somebody had surgery that is either like a remote family member or somebody like that. And when I say remote, I mean physically speaking, but not emotionally speaking. Somebody that when you find this out about them, that you're going to feel that twist in your stomach. And I feel like there's going to be a conversation like, you're getting older, you need to take better care of yourself. Something like that. They just aren't trying to worry you, is all. So that's going to be for some of you. And I'm hearing he didn't ask for your opinion. Like, I'm telling you this, I'm not asking your opinion, kind of thing. And it could be about this surgery situation. And there's somebody involved in that you're like questioning their motives. Like maybe a family member, and then they have like a family member who lives much closer, and you're concerned about the interactions between these two people. But, you know, that's only going to be for some of you as well. Is there anything else that I need to tell Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead starting December 23rd? Happy holidays. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Hi, Gemini. Hello. Hello, Gemini. Hello. Hello, Gemini. I'm going to be using Black Moonstone today. Now, the day after Christmas into Monday, Tuesday the 29th. So from December 26th until the 29th, the moon is going to be in your sign. So you can go back and listen to the ephemera concerning that, especially if you are a Gemini moon sign. What do I need to tell Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? There's some kind of vicious cycle that you have been sucked into, and I feel like this is involving toxic energies with another person or another social group of people. This might even be like, you know, a certain clique of friends that you hang out with sometimes, and you've gotten sucked into some kind of you're not at the epicenter of it, right? Like when you've got a hurricane and you've got those arms kind of twisting around, you've got like the epicenter where everything's like the absolute worst. You're not like in the epicenter, you're kind of like out in the periphery. But it's a situation that is, it's hard for me to describe because it doesn't vibrate with my energy. And so therefore it's hard for me to have like an accurate perspective on this particular situation. But you're gonna know, and it could be about the holidays for some of you. It could be a situation where people are trying to have a get-together, like a party, and it's very ill-advised. Although I'm not feeling like that's the totality of the situation. I feel like there's more to it than that. I'm seeing like shopping habits, like shopping bags. There could be some kind of toxic impulse shopping that goes on between you and a group of people, or that they've all bought like a bunch of expensive presents for each other and you didn't want to get suckered into that. Could be something like that too. You wouldn't give me a dime if you found it on the sidewalk. It could be that kind of toxic energy too, where these people only express their feelings for each other through acquisition of exorbitant gifts for each other. That's like how these people equate like exchange of financial goods as like that's like their love for each other. And it's a really kind of like, it's coming from a really toxic, closed off kind of a place, because it's like the kind of energy too where like maybe you are a recovering alcoholic and they buy you like a $1,000, or not $1,000, but like a multiple hundreds of dollars bottle of champagne or something like that. They're like, well, I love you, I spent all this money on this thing, you know. Ooh. So that's going to be for some of you. How is Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising supposed to deal with that situation? You don't. You just walk away. It's not worth trying to, because even if these are family members, okay, I get the sense that for some of you this could be family members of yours. They only act like this when they're in this group, right? And if you were to approach any of them individually outside of the context of this particular situation, you would get a much more rational and reasonable response out of this person. So, and there is one person who is the epicenter of this. And I'm hearing it's somebody's mother. Could be your mother. And this is only going to apply, obviously, to a few people. It's not going to be like every single person, but it's possible that there's aspects of this in a lot of your different situations. And it could be financial, but it could be like related to other stuff as well. But in this particular case, like somebody's mother is the epicenter. And if you were to confront them about this behavior later, they would be like, well, I only do X, Y, and Z because that person and that person, like they're doing it. They're the ones who are really instigating it. And the truth is that this person is instigating it, but they don't recognize their part in the situation, which is what makes it probably the most toxic of all. Am I right? Usually that's how it goes. Somebody who recognizes their toxic behavior and is appalled by it is more likely to change it. But that's going to be, for some of you, obviously some of you are just going to have a really nice, pleasant, calm holiday situation. But that doesn't, like when you're doing divination and scrying and stuff like that, the more intense the energy, the more likely it is to jump out. So low intensity situations are not as likely to jump to the forefront. I'm hearing you're not qualified. Is that directed at me, or is that directed at Gemini? feel like somebody out there kind of hate watches my Gemini forecasts sometimes. Or somebody who's a Gemini watches these videos when there's like a significant other in the room, or a roommate or somebody who's kind of like, that person's not qualified, they don't know anything, which is fine. I'll just tune it out, no big deal. And, you know, who knows, maybe I am projecting. It seems specific to Gemini videos, that's why I mention it. I think there was another video I did like maybe a month or so ago where I was like, if you're not having a good time, you can just leave, and I stand by that. Obviously, like, I can't block you the same way I would on YouTube, but there are other things I can do to tune that out. Yeah, that person's just jealous. But I also feel like disbelief is a privilege. People who don't believe in anything outside of themselves have not had the opportunity to be really messed up by it. So, there's that too. Anyway, Gemini, let's move on. What else does Gemini have going on this week, starting December 23rd and going through December the 30th? Yeah, there's a lot of activity. You're going to be taking action on some kind of big purchase. And this is not related to that other situation. This is going to be something like you need to buy a new appliance, or it could be needing to buy a new car or a new computer. I'm really feeling like it's like a new computer, or you could be buying a new gaming system that you use also to watch television or also to do other stuff, because, you know, most gaming systems now, you can do many things with them and get on the internet and everything like that. So I think that it's possible that some of you are going to be investing in something like that soon. And I say investment because it's something that's really going to make something possible for you that wasn't before. Whether it's like watching TV, or staying up to date on the news, or maybe you had like an old computer with an old webcam and you buy a brand new gaming computer, and now you can do a lot more things like Zoom. I see you like editing photos and videos possibly as well, something like that. Something that's going to be a really good tool for you to use. What else do I need to tell Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Give it up. Give it up. We've got you surrounded. But like, not like you're being busted by a SWAT team or something like that. I feel like that could be possible for some of you, but I feel like this is like a game of Ollie Ollie Oxen Free or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of things like that, like tag and hide and seek and stuff like that. There could be like a scavenger hunt involved. Maybe you're part of a scavenger hunt and somebody comes to you and says, give it up, we got you surrounded. You got this essential piece of this scavenger hunt that I need. But a very playful energy around it. A competitive and playful energy around that. What else is there going on with Gemini this week? Like a BLT. I see somebody making a BLT. I taste like the crunch. There's like the softness of the white bread on the outside, but then there's like the crunch of the bacon and the lettuce. Some people toast their BLTs, but this one, you like an untoasted BLT. Alright, I think that's it, Gemini. Have a great week. Have a great holiday. I'll see you again soon. Alright, Cancer. I feel I'm going to be using this black moonstone for the readings this week. I love tinted lip gloss, but I always get it all over my face. Cancer, what's going on with you this week? Yeah, I'm seeing like a lot of opportunities lighting up for you that you've had over the course of this year. So like a lot of things became possible for you, and now you're kind of like coasting into the next curve. So a lot of things have been set up at this point, and a lot of activities that you're going to be doing moving forward are going to be related to harvesting these energies that you've put out, harvesting the rewards of those energies, and taking advantage of the situations as they have been presented to you. Hearing objected or objective. Primary objective, the imperative. I feel like there's a bright shining goal in the distance. Like you have now a much more specific idea of what you want to do and how you want to get it done. And so because all of these things got set up, now you're going to be able to carry through with all of those items and reach some kind of level of success with what you want to be doing. Because even if you don't quite get all the way to your goal, right now I feel like you have a great chance to, you have everything you need to really make headway with what it is that you want to be doing moving forward. And that this year has been kind of about setting up all of those situations for you so that you will be able to do what you want to do moving forward. I can't really see anything here that's like super negative or of a lower vibrational energy. Everything for you this week, Cancer, looks pretty high vibrational and like you are setting yourself up for achievement. There's a walkway. There's a spirit walkway. Yeah, so like almost like in the Akashic field for you. Some of you who might be inclined toward astral projection and spiritual journey, like that out of body journey. I feel like there is a walkway that is just opened up to you. It's kind of like the equivalent of a footpath. Whereas like there's astral superhighways, there's astral wormholes, there's all kinds of ways of traveling around in the astral field, but I feel like this particular thing is kind of like, I went to this high school freshman year where there were like two separate buildings. The first one was like the older building, and then there was like the add-on, and there was like a walkway behind the two, like a catwalk. So it was like that. It's going to be kind of like that, where it's connecting two buildings that are right next to each other, or two spaces, two astral spaces that are right next to each other. And this could have to do with your memory. So it could be that there are two things that have, up until this point, within your psyche and your memories, more specifically, these two things have been very discrete and very separate, and you didn't think that there was a connection between the two. But coming up soon, and it could be precipitated by dream work, or it could even be something that you eat. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a psychoactive substance. It could be something that jogs your memory in a certain way, and you realize that two things are connected. And the effect of this is going to be that you see things in a completely different light, and you're able to better understand that situation overall than what you previously, the opinions you previously held about it. And so you'll be, like what I'm hearing is that you'll be walking toward your success. You won't have to run towards it. It's actually like just in the next building over. So there's kind of that idea too, that you've been setting all these things up, and finally you're to a point where your goal is not only going to become very clear and apparent, but you're going to see how close you are to it. And it might turn out that you're a lot closer to your goal than you previously imagined. He didn't give you those hardships. You earned them yourself. So there could be, and I'm not saying this to like blame you, but there could be cases where you were blaming others for hardships that you were experiencing in your life, when the truth of the matter was that they were not related to those other people at all, that they were side effects of other things that you were doing, and that you were the catalytic factor in those circumstances in a way that you didn't appreciate at the time. Because again, I'm not, when hardships occur in your life, it's not that you necessarily deserve that. But there are maybe things that you did that caused them to occur. Like a car accident is not necessarily your fault. Anybody can get into a car accident, but it can cause things to occur that make your life more complicated. And it's something like that. And maybe up until this point, you had seen someone else, whether it was a parent or, somebody else in your life, you had seen them as being the responsible party in that situation and been blinded to your own part in that. I'm hearing he didn't act soon enough. So it could be he didn't act soon enough to have caused this for you. You are the architect of your own demise in some ways. And I don't mean that like, oh, you're headed into a bad period. I think it's more like you're headed out of a bad period or headed out of trouble. And you had been the architect of your own demise in the past and had been blind to it. And that other people's part in what you had going on was really too late to be effective in any particular way. And so you're giving them much more credit than they deserve. Yeah, you're giving somebody too much credit. And that may be because you had projected this onto them, it was affecting their life as well. But the sky is going to open up and you're going to see clearly. And because you're able to see clearly, you're going to be able to move forward in a way that's much more effective. Is there anything else that I need to tell Cancer? Sun, Moon, and Rising? Oh, yeah. So I encourage everybody to go back and watch the ephemera. But one thing that is coming up that is going to be kind of exciting for you is that the moon's going to be in Cancer starting on Tuesday the 29th and going New Year's Eve. The moon's going to then go into Leo. But while the moon is in Cancer on Tuesday the 29th, it's going to be a full moon, and it's going to be in opposition to the sun in Capricorn, which, as you know, is the opposite of your sign. And what this means is that that energy of Capricorn is going to be really strong, but the moon is native to your sign. So there's going to be an aspect of that, this very strongly oppositional energy. And I go over it more in the ephemera section of the video, but basically the gist of it is that Cancer is like a very emotionally charged energy, and it is the emotions that you share with other people, the way that you reciprocate other people's emotions, and the way that your emotions affect other people. And then Capricorn energy is very practically motivated and has to do with how you are using your own environment to affect your life for the better. And it doesn't necessarily include compassion for others and can include manipulation. So as far as that impacts you, because that's an oppositional placement, and I consider Cancer and Capricorn to be one of the more contentious dualities in the zodiac. Like Virgo and Pisces are pretty opposite too, but Cancer and Capricorn are very opposite. And so there's going to be some aspects of that for you that may crop up and be a little more contentious than what you prefer. Might be something like that. Is there anything else that I need to tell Cancer about the week ahead? That's it. That's it for you, Cancer. Have a great week. And a great holiday. Hello, Leo. Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your week ahead for December 23rd through the 30th. And this week I'm using Black Moonstone. So let's find out what is going on with you this week, Leo. It's the universe. What's going on out there in the universe? It's going to be a spectacular event. So I am recording this on Monday when there is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. Excuse me. And that could have been, that could act as an awakening for you. So Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Aquarius is directly opposite your sign. It is a fixed air sign. And actually, of all of the oppositional energies within the astrological wheel, Leo and Aquarius are not what I consider to be total opposites. I have quite a few friends who are Aquarius and have Aquarius energies. And I feel like Leo and Aquarius energies are actually pretty complementary. Certainly not like Capricorn and Cancer or Virgo and Pisces. And I say Virgo and Pisces because Virgo is very like analytically minded and Pisces is very like kind of psychic intuitive. So it's not that the two can't get along. It's just that there are some, key differences there. So this might be affecting you insofar as it's like opening things up for you. And I'm seeing like a lot of like cosmic awakening type energy. Like probably a lot of you have already gone through a certain amount of that, especially like I know the eclipse season that happened in 2017, there was a lot of that floating around. But this in particular has more to do with your relationships to, like, that might have been the awakening part, and now you're like evaluating your relationships to a lot of celestial energies and entities. And how this is going to affect you moving forward is your spatial awareness and your awareness of yourself in regard to other people and understanding their motivations. Like, you are probably already pretty self-aware regarding most things, but this is going to attune you that much more. Like, you might be aware that this affects other people, but this is going to be the step further. How does this affect other people? Why are other people going to feel the way that they do about certain situations that I'm involved with? Like, you might perceive that somebody feels some kind of way about something, but you might not really understand how they feel. This is going to be taking that intuitive feeling that much further for you. And there's a lot of law of attraction energy tied up in that conjunction too. So, really going back to that eclipse season, it could be that there are things that you set into motion at that time that are now getting ready to come to fruition. And there are people around you who are going to be helping you do that. So that Aquarius energy is very much like a group project energy. So there could be a group of you working toward this manifestation. And what else is going on with you this week, Leo? Don't want to get an eyelash in my eye. Don't want to get an eyelash in my eye. Don't want to feel an eyelash in my eye. Make a wish. Make a wish. Make a wish. I feel kind of a chill. I'm not like cold in my apartment. I feel like a tingly, kind of a chill feeling, kind of in my upper torso and shoulders. So for some of you, that could be that energy radiating out from the heart. Leo is very much like about the heart center. Cancer is the breast. Leo is the heart, and then Virgo is like the intestines and digestive system. But kind of radiating out from that upward. So your energies coming from your center and then radiating up and out, and that generating this manifestation for you. And you having that feeling, then being part of the understanding of those things coming to pass. You didn't respect the full gravity of this transition when you threw yourself into it, and that is going to prevent you from fully unlocking your own potential moving forward. What does that mean? Does that mean that's closed off forever? No, it doesn't mean it's closed off forever. But what it does mean is that you're going to run into a few situations where you end up having to circle back around something. And it's going to be because the energy that you put into it initially is not going to be the amount that is required to push it off, and these things will become apparent, and it's not even necessarily to do, I feel like all the groundwork is in place on the physical level, on the practical level, the mundane level. It's your psychological preparation that you're going to have to circle back around on. So that, I guess a good way of putting it is like on YouTube, with negative comments. You're always, no matter what you do, no matter how popular your channel is, no matter how great your videos are, you're always going to get people who leave you comments that are just really hideous. I just delete those comments and I block that person from the channel because they're clearly not my demographic. They're clearly not my target audience. But it can be very difficult to deal with that. So this is going to be a situation that's equivalent to getting your first really negative comment on YouTube. And you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. You're going to have to work that into your system. You're going to have to figure out, like, am I just going to ignore them? Am I going to delete them? Am I going to block that person from the channel permanently? Like, what your course of action is going to be. And so when I say the gravity of the situation, like, a lot of times when you go into something initially, there's not a good way for you to know how everything is going to play out and how things are necessarily going to be when you get there. And so therefore it's difficult to really gauge the gravity of certain situations because you don't know enough about it until it actually happens. Like childbirth is a good example of that. Until you have a child, you really don't have a grasp of all of the intricacies of that situation. And you can read as many books about it as you want, but it's different for everybody. It's literally a microcosm of the human experience to be a parent, because you're observing like this one individual from the outside, whereas like observing yourself, even if you're observing yourself as an outsider would, it's not quite the same as observing your own offspring. So it's going to be something like that. And as you are going through that process, and I'm not saying like, oh, you have to be a parent to understand. That's just one example. There are lots of other ways that people experience that in their life. I would think that even being a business owner would be similar. Observing the machinations from the outside. But there are going to be things that crop up that you realize you were not equipped to prepare for until now. And so those are things you're going to have to be circling back around to figure out. The Empress from the Tarot. That idea of that divine creative spark. Then when you view your creations from the outside and see them take on their own life and their own destinies. So like, like I was talking about having a child, being a business owner, even art. Oh gosh, hold on, it's right there. On the card, she's not looking to the future. She's looking directly at you in the present. There's a simpatico there. There's like a connection between you and the Empress card when you're viewing her. She's a very maternal energy. She's a very fostering energy. So this law of attraction that you put into motion back in 2017 possibly, Leo, sun, moon, and rising. I only say that because that's when that eclipse season was occurring, and I know I was doing a lot of work at that time. When you started to put these things into action, I don't know that there was really a concept of how others would react to all of these things, or to how it would impact not just other people's lives, but impact social situations overall, and environmental climate. Not climate change, but in your personal environment. When you manifest something, it starts to change everything around you. And so I think there's something about that you didn't fully grasp the gravity of that environmental change. And so psychologically, you're going to have to go back and revisit certain parts of that situation. And I don't know if I can really describe it any better than that, or if I need to describe it better than that. I think altogether that should make enough sense. Is there anything else that I need to tell Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Put on your galoshes and get ready for the rainstorm. Have a great week. I hope you enjoy your holidays, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Virgo. And this is going to be your forecast for the week of December 23rd through December 30th. So almost to the new year, right? It's a very exciting time of year. Lots of things ending, lots of things beginning, but in a lot of ways, lots of things staying the same. So, what does Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising have to look forward to in the week ahead? We've got some skirmishes over skimming. Skirmishes over skimming. Yeah, somebody could be skimming the till at work, and it's becoming apparent. Somebody who's not getting paid enough. So there's a lot of essential workers out there who are working in retail positions where they're making close to minimum wage. And there could be some situations coming up where somebody is not making ends meet, and they're working a lot, and they're working in dangerous conditions, and they start kind of just taking money out of the register because they're fed up and they can't handle it anymore. This could be you. This could be somebody that you're close to as well, like a roommate or a partner or a sibling, possibly. And I think that it's making you really nervous because you're afraid that they're going to get in trouble. And by proxy, you will be not in trouble, but it'll cause trouble for you if this gets found out. This could be a coworker as well, especially if this is someone who has confided in you. And I feel like it's somebody that you are close to. And I also get the sense that you understand why they're doing it, and that you don't necessarily think that they're wrong, only that they could get in a lot of trouble if they get caught or found out, and that's what is causing for you this your consternation, because I feel like you're confronting this person about this possibly this week. And if they're not skimming from the till, it could just be that they're taking things home that they're not supposed to. But I do get a sense that it's coming from a place of urgency and agency, and not just like, oh, I want this, I'm gonna take it. I think it's actually coming from a place of like, I'm not making enough money to feed myself. And so I kind of don't have an alternative. I've kind of been backed into a corner, which is unfortunate, and this isn't necessarily one of the more relaxing parts of the Virgo reading that I've ever done. What else does Virgo sun, moon, and rising need to know about the week ahead? I feel like you've got some jewelry. Somebody might be giving you jewelry for the holidays. Does it look like an engagement ring? It looks like a pendant or a necklace, but with like a focal point. So either a pendant, necklace, or it could be strings of beads, but then there's like a focal pendant on it, something like that. Something very nice. Some of you, it's going to be like gold, 24 karat gold with diamonds, something like that. It might be like a really nice bracelet for some of you, like a tennis bracelet with diamonds. Or it could be a ring, but I don't see it as being part of an engagement necessarily. This person who's giving it to you cares a lot about you. So it could be a partner giving you this, but it could also be a parent. I feel like for some of you, a parent might be giving you a piece of jewelry, and if that's the case, some of you might be receiving a piece of heirloom jewelry. But it's going to be like a really nice investment piece of jewelry. And this is kind of coming up in the reading in conjunction with this person in your life who is in a state of need. So it's possible for some of you, especially if it's a partner getting you this and this partner is involved in whatever this other situation is in the workplace, you might be very frustrated with them that they have chosen to use their resources to get you this really nice piece of jewelry, as much as you appreciate it, because other things are not being taken care of adequately. Or it could be completely tied together in that, yes, I know what this means, okay. I will put an adult content advisory on my video. But the way things are coming together, that this person might have taken that from their place of work. That's kind of a stretch, though. That might be like maybe one or two of you, tops. It's not going to be across the board. And I'm hearing a lot of stuff like, oh, he never notices anything like that. He's not going to notice. They're not going to notice. Like, this is somebody working for a big box retailer. Definitely. This is not like... I really get the sense that this is not at a small business. Because there's like some kind of disconnect there, you know. I'm not stealing from somebody. I'm stealing. I'm taking what's rightfully mine. So how I see it from a corporation, I'm just not able to do that in the right way. Because, yeah. And I mean, it is that time of year when people are trying to spend money on their loved ones. And it can be very difficult to get through this time of year without racking up a bunch of debt or overspending, because you do want to take care of the people around you and give them things that you think they deserve in life. Definitely. You've got somebody coming through for you, and that's going to be more tangible than just like Christmas presents. It's going to be, excuse me, I just ate my lunch. I try to eat about halfway through the videos. Sorry about that. But this person's coming through for you in a way that will bring you success. And I think that's part of your frustration too with this person, is that you're like, well, I'm so close to just being able to take care of all of us. Like, this could be a close friend, it could be a partner, it could be a sibling. It's somebody that you would not feel any compunction about taking care of if it came down to that. And you're saying, I'm so close. And this person is really going to come through for you in the holiday season. You're going to find a new order to your life. A lot of things that you've been and for some of you are like selling online. You're going to get orders coming in for things, but overall there's going to be a new sense of order to your life moving into the new year. And a lot of this is going to be precipitated by how much everything in your environment has changed. And so this is going to be the restructuring period for you. And that is just kind of like, it's just kind of that time of year when people are thinking about New Year's resolutions. They're thinking about where they're at in their lives, moving into the new year. So a few of those things, a few of those things are going to be factors for sure. And what else do I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead, December 23rd through the 30th? Halloween weekend. Something maybe happened Halloween weekend. So there was a full moon in Taurus Halloween weekend, and there is a full moon in Taurus coming up on this next Tuesday. No, it's not in Taurus, it's in Cancer, sorry. But there could have been something that you were doing around the time of that full moon and Halloween. And it's going to be coming back around again. Yeah, so Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Yeah, so there's going to be, will have been over the span of these 3 full moons. What kind of thing are we talking about for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising that they've been working on? I'm hearing benediction, and it's going to culminate in this Cancer full moon because it has to do with emotional ties to the home and family, and this being a benediction, and that could be something that you are getting help with from someone else, that there's if it's not spell work that you're doing, it could be prayer, and you could be part of a prayer group, and you guys have been working on this prayer energy for a few months now. So that could be part of it as well. I think all of these things are kind of interconnected. They're definitely all orbiting each other. And so there's going to be some little strings connecting certain parts of this web for all of you, Virgo, but those connections might be different for each one of you. Is there anything else I need to tell Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? There's that meme where the lady's like, honey, you got a big storm coming. I feel like that might be applicable to some of you. But it's like it's going to clear things out of your life. Sometimes there's like a controlled burn. So this would be the same kind of cleansing, but not using fire, instead using water. So this is going to be like a cleansing kind of a storm, and it is going to be moving things out of your life that are not working anymore. And it could be because it's like element of water instead of element of fire. Element of fire, there's passion to it, but it's not purely emotional. There's like emotion and action combined. Water, there's emotion, but there's like passivity. So it's going to be a more passive release of these things from your life. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Virgo about for the week ahead? Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm hearing this specifically, Virgo Rising. I'm a Virgo Rising, but I'm hearing this specifically that there's going to be some kind of news coming in the mail, like possibly a check you weren't expecting, or good news about something. And it's going to be, I see that it's coming like in the mailbox, but I guess it could be like email or some other kind of written correspondence. Is there anything else, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for the week ahead? I feel like there's a lot more, but that's all for this week. So, have a great week. Enjoy your holidays, and I'll see you again very soon. Hello, Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What's going on with you for the week ahead? We're talking about December 23rd through the 30th. Wednesday to Wednesday. Horseshoe race. So, for some of you, when you were a lot younger, there are like these games that become entrenched in your peer group. And sometimes the sanctioned rules deviate from the rules as they develop within your peer group over time. And I feel like there's a game like that. And I feel like for somebody in particular, it's called horseshoe race. And I'm not entirely... Let me parse this out a little bit. So, in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, there's the sketch with the coconuts. He's clapping the coconuts together to make the horseshoe noises, and they are pretending to ride a horse, basically. We won't even get into the part with the African swallows. We won't worry about that part right now. What's relevant to this reading is that there's a game like that. It's called Horseshoe Race for some of you, and it has to do with take 2 red Solo cups and clap them together. And somehow that's related to a race. I don't know if it's the speed that you clap them together to make a noise, or if there's some relay aspect to it where you have to pass it off to another person and not break tempo or something. Anyway, so this game is coming up. And why is that important for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising at this time? You're going to be hanging out with that group of people. And they're going to want to play the game for old time's sake. And you're going to, for whatever reason, you're going to opt to sit out and just watch them playing this game. And I think some of them, so for some of you, you're older now, and so you maybe don't have kids, but other people that are in your age group that were part of that group now have children. And it's possible you have children too, but the gist of all of this is that you guys are now teaching this next generation about your game of horseshoe race, whatever that means. And so, for whatever reason, whether it's that you don't have children of your own that you're showing this game, you are opting to sit out and watch everyone else playing this game. And you start kind of watching it from the outside, which is something that you haven't done before. Every other time it's been played, you've been right there with them, playing the game also. And so watching it from the outside, you get a perspective of how nonsensical it is. And this is going to be a very concrete situation for some of you, but all of you are going to be witnessing something from the outside that, when you're not a part of it directly anymore, when you start observing it from the outside, you're going to realize how nonsensical it is. But for some of you, it's specifically going to be tied to that situation. And like the haggling over the rules, which is like how the rules get hashed out in your peer group, and you're going to find somebody to be unreasonable and kind of like the ringleader of this ridiculous rule making, and you're going to see that person in a perspective you haven't seen them yet. Like, it's going to change your perspective of how this person functions. That, oh, actually this person seems like they might be kind of manipulative. Or, gosh, this person's actually really emotionally vulnerable in a way that didn't occur to you before. Like, oh, this person hates having their pride hurt, and so they keep like tweaking and altering the rules so that they're never totally the loser. And you're going to witness this in relation to somebody else. And it's going to cast a lot of light on situations in your own life that involve this person. And it's going to make everything much more clear. And again, like, give you a totally different perspective on how this person functions. That will make it easier to deal with them in the future. You weren't planning to give up your car keys. Yeah, I don't think this is in relation to like you being intoxicated. I think there's a situation where somebody's like, give me your car keys. I need to get something out of the car. Or I want to leave your presents in your car or something like that. And it's going to trigger. And this could be totally separate from this other situation too. It's going to trigger for you, like, I don't intend to give you my car keys. And you're going to find a way to be like, oh, I'll go out there with you, you know. Maybe you smoke. Maybe you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go out and have a cigarette. Let's go out there together. And something like that. But there will be a situation like that where, for whatever reason, you don't trust to give that person your car keys. And I think it's kind of just like a snap judgment in the moment. Like, it could seem like a totally reasonable request, but then for whatever reason it like trips something in your psyche, and you're like, I gotta keep an eye on this one. So that could be something that comes up for you. I feel like that's gonna be part of a holiday Christmas situation specifically for some of you. Some of you who are celebrating Christmas, somebody's going to be like, oh, I just want to go out and put this in your car. What else is Libra looking forward to in the week ahead? Libra, sun, moon, and rising. You're giving them too much credit. So I don't think that there will be... Excuse me. I don't think there will be too much attention drawn to the fact that you don't give this person your car keys. But to think that they are being duplicitous in any way, or that they have anything planned, you're giving them too much credit. That they have any other intention than just what they say they are. Even if this person is super shady. I'd probably like not have any kind of intention, but not because they're a good person, just because like you're giving them too much credit. And there's something else tied into that involves a third person. So that they are looking to they want to grab that person. They want to, that's weird. Could be that they have fantasies about kidnapping this other particular person, and they ask you if they can borrow your car keys, because they're practicing for when they interact with this other person. Oh, somebody's child is having a really hard time. Sorry about that. Is there anything else that I need to tell Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week ahead? Give them a much harder time about the car keys. Don't just, don't just brush it off. Like, call them out, make them feel like a creep. And I say this because I feel like with you, it's not that deep. But there could be a situation with somebody else that, if you're around other people and they get flagged as a creep, that it will save that other person a lot of grief. And it's possible that you already know what I'm talking about, but it could also be like just some kind of situation that never even occurred to you. So you'll know if it comes up or not, though. You'll be able to like feel it in your gut. You'll be like, ooh, this feels wrong. But it won't be because it has something to do with you. It'll be because it has something to do with somebody else that you might wish to be looking out for. You've already given them a hard time about something like this. Like, it could be that you've already given them a hard time, and it might not have been about the same exact kind of thing. But it could just be the kind of dynamic that the two of you have as well, that you just kind of give this person a hard time. Because you can, because they're an easy target. Sometimes there are people in our lives that are just, their faces are just punchable, And I try to have an awareness of that, because a lot of people have punchable faces that don't necessarily deserve to be punched in the face. But I think in this situation, you perceive this person to be not necessarily deserving of your whole compassion for whatever reason. And again, like, these interpersonal dynamics there's so much going on between people. It could mean just about anything. But in this particular case, I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'll walk out there with you or something like that. I would be like, what are you trying to do? You gonna steal my car? What, you trying to hide bodies in my trunk? You'll know. Is there anything else that I need to tell Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising about the week ahead? Have a great holiday. Enjoy your holiday, and I will see you again very soon. Hello, Scorpio, And welcome to your week ahead for December 23rd through the 30th. Sorry, forgot about something. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. What do you need to know going into the week ahead? Is it tornado season? It is for you. I feel like, because I thought tornado season was in the spring. But for somebody, excuse me, you're heading into your own personal tornado season. And that it's going to clear a path for you. It used to be that there were all these buildings, all these really nice storefronts, but for whatever reason that was in your way. And now that this tornado's coming through, you're going to be able to Godzilla your way right through that. And I'm not sure what about that status quo is in direct opposition to your state of being, but most of the Scorpios that I've known have been iconoclastic in one way or another, so it makes sense that you would need to clear things out of the way, even if those things are part of other people's normal way of being. You're going to be really unapologetic about it too. Like, y'all should have known. Should have known better. Should have known I was going to come through here. But you're not the tornado. You're not the, like, you're going to be stomping through the rubble, but you're not the tornado. Someone else is going to be the tornado. Yeah, I definitely get the sense here that there could be somebody else who's like way ahead of you as far as dismantling this particular institution is concerned. And that they are just they're gonna blow all these facades right down. And they're not going to be able to rebuild there for a long time, many generations, when this person gets through with what they're doing. And you'll be able to help. There's a comedian who's been like gender fluid for a long time, and because I'm not sure if they're still using the same name, I'm just going to say that they're using she, her pronouns now. But they've always been known for crossing the gender barriers. And I feel like this person is involved in some way, possibly. But it's kind of like that there's somebody who is in the public eye who is really like pushing this through, but a side effect of that is that you are then going to be able to clear your path personally that you need to be taking. So that's going to be a part of your week ahead. And you were walking this path through thick and thin. It doesn't matter to you that this person is doing this, but it will make things easier for you. Like, you don't look at this person and think like, oh, this person has helped me out so much in my life, you know. And it's not even really that you could give them credit, other than just that you guys are headed in the same direction, and they cleared this path for you. Junie B. Jones. Wasn't that like some kind of young adult book? Junie B. Jones. Hold on. Yeah, it was like a book series. What's the deal with Junie B. Jones? Some of you look like this. She looks pretty different. This is a first grader. She goes through all of these different adventures, you know. Written by Barbara Park, illustrated by Denise Brunkus. Published from 1992 to 2013. She is almost 6 when she starts her first day of kindergarten. How did she die? Oh. No, that was the author. Okay. Whew. It was challenged because of its poor grammar, punctuation, and often disrespectful attitude. Okay, so I was like, why is this coming up? This is why. I think that you experience a lot of the same things in that often people write you off or you are challenged because of your poor grammar, punctuation, and often disrespectful attitude. But the energy's there, the essence is there, and sometimes that's what makes these things much more powerful than if you were to be well behaved and just follow the status quo. The bad language included in the series, such as dumb and stupid, is far less inappropriate than the language that has probably slipped out of the parents' mouths at some point. And that's a parent review for Junie B. Jones. Some people think it's excessive and too mature for children, so maybe there are people out there who think you're excessive and too mature for children. And that's really on a case-by-case basis. I mean, adults, for the most part, don't really need to be interacting with other people's children. I mean, there's a time and place for that, for sure. But, you know, for the most part, you're not just going to be walking down the street and see a kid and be like, hey, let's be best friends. You know. Okay, so yeah, I think for a long time, probably, there's been something like that where you have been unabashedly yourself, unapologetic about it, and something is going to be, there's going to be a sea change that's going to make it a lot easier for you to just exist in your own skin the way that you have been up until this point. That the way that you are naturally is going to come to be much more accepted, just because that's how things are turning at this time. And that things that maybe people used to get up in arms about before when they would see you in public. Gosh, I'm sorry, excuse me. You know, like strangers on the street. Often strangers on the street will have a reaction to you for their own personal reasons. And it can be difficult to draw that line when they cross over from, you know, casual disinterest into abuse. So there will be a change as far as how you are perceived and treated in public. And it's going to have a lot to do with some of these things that are coming through right now. And I feel like there's going to be somebody who's like on the vanguard of that, somebody who's really pushing that ideal forward publicly, who's in the public eye already. Not to say that you're not in the public eye. I've never heard of you. No, I'm just kidding. I have lots of friends who are Scorpios. I have a Scorpio moon. And I don't know who's going to end up watching my videos. But I assume that if you're watching my psychic ASMR channel, that you're probably not famous. But what do I know? That's an assumption, not a prediction. Other people obviously have been on your side all along. You know, you're still going to have your core group, but you might find that people who 5 years ago had nothing but bad things to say about you are now changing their tune in a very not so subtle way. Almost like they're having their leg twisted or something. But because of this other thing, it's almost like they feel like they're doing it under duress or something. Not sure what that's about. That's not your energy that's being pushed through that like that. That definitely has to do with this other person who is pushing this through publicly. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. But it's going to be different for everyone. So, obviously, it's not super well defined around the edges. Yeah, like, have you ever been in one of those antique stores where, like, everything's just kind of, it's like, a lot of times when they make an antique store, they find a building that's made completely out of wood, usually pine, and they cram it to the gills with all kinds of just knickknacks from the 1920s. And there's very much like all of these antiquated ideas being stuffed into this log cabin and being set on fire. So I'm definitely getting like someone who is very iconoclastic, and I'm sure like you are, and this person very well could be a Scorpio, but I get the feeling that there's like one person who's really going to do something that is just going to burn that log cabin to the ground. With all of those antiquated ideals inside. And it's going to change your lifestyle for the better. What else do I need to tell Scorpio? Sun, moon, and rising about the future this week ahead, December 23rd through the 30th. I think that's pretty much the gist of it for right now. I hope that you have a great holiday season, and I really look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hi, Sagittarius. Hello. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your December 23rd through the 30th weekly forecast. So, what is going to happen, excuse me, for Sagittarius during the week ahead? My mother's Sagittarius sun I do have a few other friends who are Sagittarius sun. It's a mutable fire sign energy. And I find I get along pretty well with Sagittarius. I've dated Sagittarians before. Why am I saying all these things? It sounds like I'm defending some backward position about something that I've just said about a Sagittarius. It sounds like I've said something and then someone has come back and said, it sounds like you're prejudiced against Sagittarius. And no, I have lots of Sagittarius friends. I've even dated Sagittarians before. You guys did just have birthdays. This past month, Sun is entering Capricorn the day that I'm recording this, which is Monday the 21st. It is also the day when Jupiter and Saturn touch each other in Aquarius. And Venus is in Sagittarius right now. So let's talk a little bit about that. Venus doesn't just have to do with love. Venus can also be about money. Green is one of the colors of Venus, whereas Jupiter is more like purples and blues, stuff like that. But green is associated with Venus not just because of fertility, but also because of money. Now, why am I saying this? Well, Sagittarius, while Venus is in your sign, it's possible that you will see an increase in finances. Not the kind of expansive growth that you see with Jupiter, which is native to your sign. Jupiter is also about elevation of the self, but Venus is like paycheck energy. Big paycheck energy. Big stimulus check energy. So there might be something related to that comes through for you specifically this week. It might be a really good week for you financially. And hold on. Because Venus entered your sign like a week before last or something like that, I think. Let me look at this. Venus. Yeah, Venus was in Scorpio until the 16th. So the 16th, Venus entered your sign and will be in your sign through the end of the year. But we'll talk more about that later. So this could be a period in which you start to see a really good like lucky money coming in for you. And that occurring both due to hard work and also because of just pure good fortune. Good fortune is another thing associated with Venus. So, could be love, but can also just be good fortune and money coming in. Now, some other parts of this that you might find less convenient. There might be things that are expected of you to get this to occur, so that you are not just a passive participant in that process, but that you are actively expected to take part in bringing that money in. Whether that means like going out and earning money somewhere, or it could be about driving, the driving involved. Some of you might be be driving for a rideshare service. And so there's going to be driving involved. Some of you buying and selling stuff, going to be driving involved. And there's things tied up in that, like gas, car insurance, or if you don't have your own car and you're having to travel around to a bunch of places, there might be something else involved in that, like paying for someone else to drive you around, paying for their gas, things like that. So that's going to be part of it too. And yeah, I'm really getting like a lot of pervasive Venus and Sagittarius energy. So, again, might be Christmas bonus time, or getting money from parents or grandparents or other relatives because of the holidays. Just generally seeing like an increase in finances for you, but I am seeing a lot of driving around as well. And that could be, now keep in mind with social distancing, the more pods that you go to visit, the more risk you're putting all of yourselves in. So hopefully you're not driving around because you're going to visit different groups of people. Now, it is responsible for all of you not to be gathering in one place, but it doesn't, if you're driving around still to see all of those people, then you may as well have just congregated all in the same place. But I'm not saying that you're doing that, so keep that in mind too. Just be, when you're traveling around like this, just be really safe, because it just seems like some of you are like, zipping like all over the place to go pick up stuff and to also like go see people and stuff like that. And there are ways to do that, to be safe while you're doing that. So, like I mentioned before, you can get a and it's very easy to make sure that other people's particles are not getting on you and that you're not. So as you can see, there are lots of things that you can do to keep everyone involved safe. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Sagittarius about? Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. No, that's your week ahead. Enjoy your holidays. Congratulations on your recent birthday. And I hope to see you again very, very soon. Hello, Capricorn. I'm recording this on December 21st, which is the day that Sun enters Capricorn. And of course, Jupiter and Saturn have now vacated your sign. Pluto's still in Capricorn. So you've got that to enjoy and appreciate for a bit longer. Let's see. I think at least through the end of the year. I don't have my other book for next year over here just yet. But let's see. Yeah, Pluto will be in Capricorn for the rest of this year. And you guys have birthdays coming up. So happy birthday to Capricorn Sun signs. And as for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising, what do I need to tell you for the week ahead? You've got an interest in something. And I can't tell if this is just if it's like a fetishization of something, it seems like more than just a casual interest, kind of like bordering on an obsession. And this could have to do with another person. It could have to do with sexual tastes and preferences. Or it could have to do with a hobby that you've picked up. Like model trains. It could be totally sexual, or it could be not sexual at all. Of course, it's not for me to say that model trains can't be sexual, but I think it either is or it isn't. It's not like, oh, I'm kind of turned on by this. But it's possible that you, like, feel kind of turned on by it because it's exciting to you and it appeals to your sensibilities. But you've gotten very wrapped up in this, which is kind of not a very Capricorn way of being, perhaps. I guess it could be, depending on what is tied up in it. So the thing is that you might have encountered this thing kind of by accident, and it has gradually infiltrated and taken over a greater portion of your life. And I think you could be spending a lot of money on it, potentially, although I don't think that's the totality of it. I don't think the totality of your obsession is in the spending on this particular thing. I think there's more to it than that. Not just the acquisitional territory, but that there is the planning for it, and the arranging of things, and the, like, you start getting, like, so an example of this is, like, I'm a musician, and one of the instruments that I have played a lot and have worked with a lot is auto harp. And the other night, I have this one auto harp that's not in very good shape. And I promise I'm going somewhere with this. It's not just story time about Verge. I get really obsessed. Like, if I have an idea for something, and this happens with when I make YouTube videos too sometimes. But the other night, I laid awake for like a lot of the night when I should have been getting sleep, because I was like obsessively thinking about all of these things having to do with the auto harp. And do I need to buy a different auto harp? Because this auto harp has these cam tuners, the fine tuners on the bridge. And those things are a pain in the butt. And the auto harp is like warped because of them, because they put too much tension on the wood. It's clear to me that the person who designed auto harps was not a engineer. And so the cams, the tensioning of that bridge puts too much pressure on the veneer top of the auto harp, and it's caused it to like buckle right where the bridge is attached. And so I emailed my dad at 4 a.m. Now, he's a Capricorn. He's like a cusp Capricorn and Aquarius. So I'm sure he's having a fun day today, because Jupiter and Saturn are touching in Aquarius. But, so by the time I email him, it's 7 a.m. there. But I was like, yeah, I've just been thinking about it. Do you guys have any of the auto harps? Because I have so many auto harps, or I did. I just have 2 now, but I had many more. Well, I had like 1 more, really. It seems like I had way more because I'm super obsessed with them. Can you tell? And I have like, extra chord bars and chord bars that I can cut to be certain chords and little buttons to go on there. And I just ordered new strings for this auto harp. And so I had asked, is that auto harp still around? And he said, well, we do have this auto harp. It's not exactly the same one, but it's an auto harp that I did do the setup on. So I'm pretty familiar with it, but it was one that they kind of had around for their own use. But I think that they had given the other auto harp away, which I'm happy for them to have done that. And really, I had emailed him about it because sometimes when you become so obsessed with something, and this is where I'm tying it back together as it relates to you, Capricorn. Sometimes when you're so obsessed with something, it is important to check in with others about the feasibility of certain situations. Do you still have this particular auto harp? And then in your mind, somewhere, you're saying to yourself, if that auto harp is no longer available, this is not an urgent issue. If that auto harp is available, that auto harp is coming back home to me, But otherwise, you're able to kind of let it go. And so I had said, don't bother sending me that auto harp. And then that kind of was also something that, after I had had that discussion with him, I decided to go and set up the other auto harp that I already had. I had covered it in stickers. I peeled all the stickers off. I hit it with Goo Gone. Took all the strings off, the chord boxes off. And I'm going to do a different finish on it. And then I'm going to reset it up. And I had set that auto harp up originally. I don't think I've ever changed the strings on it since I put the strings on it might have been 2007 to 2009. It's the auto harp that I used to write all of the music when I did an album about the Oscar Wilde play Salome, and that was quite a while now ago. And so I decided that rather than go onto the internet and purchase a new auto harp, which can be quite expensive for something that is not a requirement, shall we say, because my electric auto harp works great. I pulled it out of the gig bag after months, and it's still in perfect tuning. And that's the thing too, is like when you get a good piece of equipment, if you're able to put it away for months and you pull it out and it's still in tune, that's a really good sign. But anyway, I am still talking about the process of hyperfixation here, which relates to what I am telling you overall, Capricorn. These things can easily take over every brain cell that you have and become the only thing that you think or talk about. And it's good to have reality checks and balances on yourself, putting things into place so that you don't get so hyper fixated on something that you lose track of everything else around you, or end up pushing people away because they don't share that hyperfixation. And, you know, obviously this isn't going to apply to everyone, but I do think that it's possible a lot of you are going through this right now. And finding ways to pull back on that and revisit things that you have already exhausted. Because like this auto harp, my ex-husband purchased it for me new. So when it arrived, I already knew that it was buckled near that bridge because there was a sticker that was placed over that had the names of the chords on it, right? And it was wavy. It was like pushed up in some places. So I already knew that that was one aspect of it, but it always sounded just fine. And that's another thing about the auto harp, and about a lot of situations, is that things about them can be very forgiving, even if, aesthetically speaking, you're not content with the presentation. You know, I'm very discontent with the way that it's buckled up like that, but it's mostly covered by the chord box. So do I really look at it all the time? No. But I know it's there. And there are things like that too. Is that really going to bother me long term? Probably not. So it's finding these balances and using this revisiting of this object or situation or whatever it is that you're obsessing and hyperfixating about. Using that situation to kind of, you can kind of go back to that point in history and branch off from there and go off and do other things. So you can use it as a springboard point into other situations rather than a lot of times when you have a hyperfixation about something, that can become the totality of it, and when you reach the end of that, then there's a drop off, and you kind of go into a depressive phase, and it can be really it can kind of kill your enjoyment of that thing. But that doesn't have to be the case. What else do I need to talk to Capricorn about for this upcoming week? December 23rd through the 30th. What's going on the 29th? Because we're going all the way through Christmas. Oh yeah, that full moon. So there's going to be, oh right. So there's the opposition between the moon in Cancer and the sun in Capricorn is occurring on the 29th. So especially if you are Capricorn sun sign, but really Capricorn energy in general is going to be affected by this. Capricorn and Cancer are two of the more diametrically opposed signs in the zodiac. So for example, like Leo and Aquarius energy is oppositional, but I typically get along really well with Aquarius. Virgo and Pisces are very opposite too, but Capricorn and Cancer energy is very oppositional to each other. And you might find yourself in a headspace where you are, especially if you are dealing with a hyperfixational energy, you might find yourself in an overly emotional headspace, and especially as it regards the emotions that you share with other people. So there might be aspects of Cancerian energy in that oppositional space, and especially because it's moon in Cancer, which is moon in its native sign, all of that's going to be amplified. So just be aware of that. And, I encourage everyone to watch the ephemera at the beginning of the video. I do timestamp everything pretty vigorously, and I decided not to do the ephemera at the beginning of each segment because I feel like tying everything together just makes a lot more sense. And so you'll know if those energies apply to you or not. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Capricorn about? Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising for the week ahead? Somebody wants me to say happy birthday, Jesus. But sure. Yeah, I mean, happy birthday, Jesus, if that really was your birthday. The calendars have changed a lot since then, But all of that aside, I hope you have a great holiday season, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Aquarius. So, as I record this, Jupiter and Saturn are touching in your sign. And that's pretty cool. This is the closest that they've been in something like 400 years. People are saying 400 to 800 years. I think it's since the 1400s. So what is that? At least 600 years, right? This is a long time ago. I don't feel like the math is as important as the amount of time. But it was like right before the Renaissance. And a lot of people are saying we're entering the age of Aquarius, but that's not the totality of it. The age of Aquarius refers to something slightly different, I think. But some people are calling it the age of Aquarius, which is fine. Honestly, all of those things are kind of wrapped up together. All of these energies are, tied together for a reason. That reason being that they're very interconnected. But your Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, air sign extraordinaire, fixed situational awareness. What do I need to tell Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for their week ahead? Obviously, if there have been things that you have been working on manifesting, those are going to be, this is going to be a good time for that. So you might find that things are coming to fruition, that are seeds that you had planted a long time ago. Jupiter is about expansion, and Saturn is about concretion, making things tangible and physical here on this plane. What else is going on for you this week, Aquarius? A lot of you are going to be very busy, and that might be a side effect of the energies. but it could also be a precipitation out of solution of energy that you have put out there. So, like when you are dealing with chemistry, heat, for example, you can heat a liquid and cause particles to go into solution, and then as it cools, some of the particles will precipitate back out of solution. And it's going to be something like that. You had turned up the heat, and now that you have allowed it to cool, it gives other people the opportunity to precipitate back into the situation with their energies, catalyzing a new creation. And the air energy aspect is going to be really strong for you right now. So, because of what's going on. Well, okay, so I need to correct myself there. It's not because of what's going on. That is a predictor of what might occur here on Earth. I mean, it just depends on how you feel about planetary energies to begin with. It's, you're not a passenger in the universe so much as you think you are. You still have a very active role in all of these energies as far as they are going to be interacting with you. Which is why if someone doesn't believe in astrology, it's not going to do very much good to try to convince them. Why is that? Well, because especially if you look at it from the angle of planetary magic, for example, and moon cycles, and being able to tap into these energies in order to create magical ritual workings, spell work, in order to do those things. If you're looking at it from that perspective, it makes perfect sense to tap into these energies, and then because you are tapping into them, you're hyper aware of them, and you are reciprocating energies vibrationally with the universe. But people who are not tapped into that, it doesn't do any good to try to convince them that astrology is real, because for them it probably is not. It's only real for you if you are tapping into it and utilizing it. Like even... Did you want some too? Yeah, we can share. Because there's a certain sterilization effect through the camera lens, so you don't have to worry about my germs. Here. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Of course. Anytime. Yeah, I actually, I blended up some different lip balms and I put them back in this tube. So, yeah, I think it was clear last time. So if you noticed that, that's why. But, yeah, so that's something to keep in mind for yourself as well. Okay, so what I was going to say was that people who, when it's Mercury retrograde, they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah is happening to me because all these planets are in retrograde and this and that. I would argue that those people also don't believe in astrology. Because really, the planetary energies, once you see them as being a tool that you can tap into and use, That's, to me, believing in astrology. And so this is very important for you, Aquarius, at this time, specifically because of this really crucial conjunction that you can definitely, that you will have already tapped into by the point that you're watching this. But it really shouldn't be like you feeling like a passenger. Now it's like a lot of other powerful magical tools. If you aren't able to properly wield a sledgehammer, it's not going to do you very much good to have one sitting in your garage. If you haven't been taught how to use a chainsaw, you could easily lose a finger. There was a guy who used to hang out in Little Five Points in Atlanta, and obviously I don't know where he is now, but he would sell poems, basically. Can I have like $1 for a poem? It's reasonable, but he had really cut the heck out of his shin with a chainsaw. And things like that are very possible even to people who, have nothing but the best intentions for everyone around them. So keep that in mind too, that these are powerful energies. But I would also argue that sticking your hand into the knife drawer and cutting your finger is very different from making a rose out of a carrot, right? One of those is very passive, and one of those is very active. And so there's that aspect to it as well. If you believe in astrology, but you don't see your part in it, you don't understand the part that you're playing in it, you're not really getting the full picture. And honestly, Aquarius, I say all this, but in your case, I do feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't think that many of you are lacking that understanding, shall we say, that are going to be watching this video. However, it's possible that some of the people around you might be looking at them and not really understanding how they might be not fully tapping into that potential. And so just being mindful of the ways that others interact with these energies as opposed to how you interact with them. Because like I had mentioned for a couple weeks, a lot of you also, I think, were going through a highly purifying and refining period, like in the month leading up to this. So there might be some aspects of that as well that are continuing to affect you now. Are there any other things that I need to tell Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, or point out possibly, like street signs? I think I've been talking to you about keeping track of your dreams, so again, just reiterating that this week. Another thing, okay, I hadn't mentioned this elsewhere in the video, but I've been doing an elimination diet, and I downloaded an app that I put on my phone, and I enter every time I eat, or you also track how your digestive system is working. I won't go into graphic detail there, but I think you understand what I mean. So you can track what you're eating, your digestion, and like sleep, and how much you exercise, and all of those things. And you just enter all of your information in this app, and it'll keep track for you. You may wish to do something like that at this time, just to give you an extra layer, because keeping track of your dreams is great, but also keeping track of all these other environmental things that are going to be going on with your physical, mundane body. One thing that I found it really helps me, I try to have, a certain schedule that I stick to give my life order. And I find it'll help me stay effective. It helps me eat at the right times. And keeping track of that is just one more layer to help you keep track of all of these things and how you're doing with them. The only thing I really am still working on is my sleep schedule. I have a lot of difficulty maintaining wakefulness during the day. So if you find that to be a problem as well, I'm not sure quite how to help you, but honestly, I think that's just my own personal business. I don't think that a lot of you are going to be having a problem with wakefulness at this time, but you might be having a problem with insomnia. And so keeping track of when you drink caffeinated beverages might be helpful. Keeping track of what you consume right before bed, the activities you're doing right before bed. I have to eat by 2 p.m. so that I can exercise in the early evening, so that I can go to sleep at a reasonable time. If I exercise too close to bedtime, I can't go to sleep. And there are all kinds of factors like that, the more you tweak them, the more you tighten them up, the better you will function, and the better you'll be able to tap into all these other things. Can you be a total wreck in most aspects of your life and still manifest amazing things for yourself? Yeah, absolutely. I think that time and time again, people who are publicly wrecks have proven that. But in order to really go the distance, obviously you're going to want to have much more control over your physical realm. What else do I need to talk to Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising about for the week ahead? Give it time. Give it time to unfold, because things are going to be happening, right now, but that doesn't mean that things are going to happen this week and then it's all going to stop. I think things are going to continue to happen for you over the course of the next year. And I think Jupiter is going to retrograde back into Capricorn at some point next year, but both Jupiter and Saturn are going to spend most of next year in your sign, much as they did in Capricorn this year. So that'll be an exciting time for you, Aquarius. And I really see a lot of good stuff coming up ahead for you. A lot of actualization, a lot of expansion and growth, but then also establishment. A lot of the things that you have been putting out for however long are now going to be, solidifying, building this foundation and building upon it. All right, well, I think that's it for your week ahead, Aquarius. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, I see a lot of great things coming through for you, so congratulations on that. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. I see Pisces. I see Pisces. I see Pisces. How many of you are living in places where it gets very cold? Very, very cold. How many of you enjoy that? I know that there are people out there who really love the cold weather. And I think I had mentioned something about that last week too. At any rate, so Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you're a week ahead, December 23rd through the 30th. Now, Neptune is still in your sign, and I think will be for quite a bit longer. And there are going to be some different placements that it is making with other planets. So look into that. Like a square with Venus and Sagittarius on Wednesday the 30th. I went over everything in the ephemera at the beginning of the video, so make sure that if you have any questions to watch that. You're going to have, some of you are going to be celebrating Christmas. I think you're going to really have a great Christmas this year. I see your tree, I see like not too many people around. You might be spending time with your parents and siblings, but not a lot of people around, which is good, obviously, considering the pandemic. And I really feel the warmth coming from your heart. The emotional presence is really coming through this week, Pisces, of just really being around people that you love and enjoying their company. And that could be family, but it could also be like a really close-knit group of friends, especially if you have roommates that you care about a lot. I think it's going to be a really good time. Just a lot of emotional warmth surrounding you this holiday season. And your tolerance for certain things has changed. I think for some of you this has to do with alcohol. That maybe you used to drink like way more, but then there was that time that you almost died, and you can't smell strawberry daiquiris without getting PTSD. Not to make light of PTSD, of course, but if you know, you know. It's something like that. Or your tolerance of spicy food. Like, if you are having a lot of digestive issues, like it's possible that you used to really enjoy eating spicy food, and now you really can't tolerate any spice at all. So there's going to be something like that for some of you. And, but not bad, you know. This is just, things are shifting for you, a little bit, moving into 2021. A lot of us are going through sea change because of, well, not because of, but a lot of us are going through sea change, and a predictor of that has been the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, which is a neighboring sign to you, but very different. Aquarius is fixed air energy, and Pisces is mutable water energy. But one thing that the two signs have in common is this intuition. So in the Aquarius sense, it's intuition because they're very tapped into this global mindset. And in Pisces, that intuition is tied to your like internal emotional dialogue with different past selves, so to speak. I don't know if that's really like an adequate way of describing it, but again, if you know, you know. What else do I need to talk to Pisces about? Pisces, sun, moon, and rising for the week ahead. You're giving a lot of yourself to people. And, you know, like I mentioned, this holiday get-together that you're really going to be enjoying, this is not like that. What I'm talking about here is outside of that situation, whether it's like friends who, well, I'm not going to totally call this person out, but I do have a friend who is a Pisces, and I'm not saying that she does this, but an example would be like, I have this skill that I do as my job, and people who are my friends, I mean, it's similar with me and giving tarot readings, for example. You know, I will occasionally give friends tarot readings and not charge them for it, but it's kind of like, it's a kind of thing where like it's very easy to get in the habit of never charging people money for your skill, or offering friend prices. You know, your friends should want to pay you. Now, I understand a lot of times, you know, you're caviar and they have a hamburger budget, right? I understand that. And in those cases, you know, it can be okay to like help people out because you believe in them and you believe in what they're doing. But there are some cases where I see that your coffers, your personal coffers, whether this is your stores of energy or resources or your money, I feel like for some of you this could definitely be strictly financial, that I'm seeing that your coffers are empty. Like I'm kind of seeing like the room, and then in the corner there's like little cobwebs and maybe some loose change on the floor. So just be very wary about that. I think in a lot of cases there are opportunities for you to invest in others that end up paying dividends. And so those cases are amazing and wonderful, and you should definitely take part in them. And they're not always purely transactional, you know? It could be a situation where the dividend that pays off for you is that that person is then able to take off and do their own self-actualized thing that they want to do, just as you feel like you've been able to do. So there's a certain aspect of it that's like that, but there's also other parts of it where you can't always necessarily predict what is going to be a reasonable payoff for you and other people, and what is just going to be annoying in the long term. Even if short term, maybe you're like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. But there's always going to be like a point with projects where it goes from being fun to being work. And then you decide whether or not you're going to continue to do that. And another aspect of this may very well be that you are spreading yourself thin. That's not across the board. That's not going to be for everyone. But there are going to be some of you who are spreading yourselves too thin at this time. And that is why your coffers are bare. Like going to get stuff out of your safe deposit box, and there's nothing left inside. Stuff like that. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Pisces about for this week? Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The week ahead, December 23rd through the 30th. Make sure that you drink lots of water. I don't know if that's unique to you, but that's what I'm hearing right now. I'll have some, I'm drinking tea. There we go. Yeah, so for some of you, there might be forgetting to drink enough water. And taking vitamins if you need vitamins. I'm hearing that too, especially if you're having a good time this holiday season. It might be that you're not tolerating consumption of certain things the way that you normally do, and so make sure that you're drinking lots of water and taking vitamins. Is there anything else that I need to talk to Pisces about for the week ahead? You've given enough. You have given enough. All right, Pisces, that's it for you. I hope you have a great week, a great holiday, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. All right, so we've got the wax here, right? From the candle earlier, you remember? Let's look and see what we have here. So, this might be upside down for you, but I have a number 2 here. So that could be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 planets, 2 of something. Got a lot of little scattered, there's 4 here clinging to the side. That could be these 2 are kind of separate, these 2 are closer together. This could be like these 2 people are kind of, you're all in the same friend group, but you 2 are really close, and then the rest of you are still just kind of friendly with each other. We've got this one here, this could be a C, could be an IC. Could be to do with circuitry, could also be a hand. This is a hand reaching for this, could be a coin, a hand reaching for a coin. It's almost there. What do we have here? Sigma. It could be a face. Could be a dress. Could be could be somebody's pet, like a lizard or a fish. Maybe somebody's deciding to get a pet that lives in a small tank. What do we have over here? Conjunctio, 2 people coming together, or a group of people coming together, 2 paths converging, something like that. So we have that there as well. And as you know, I like using these basins that have really reflective bottoms for scrying. I feel like it helps everything show up that much better. Is there anything else here that I need to talk about? This could also be a tower moment. This upright here. Am I missing anything? Am I missing anything? Musical note here. Somebody might be releasing new music. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for the Ceromancy this week. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I love seeing you guys week after week, day after day, month after month. And now, can you believe, year after year? If you do want a personal reading, I do crystal scrying and tarot, and I'll leave the links down in the description. Don't forget to check out nettnettradio, especially if you love well-curated music that is outside the norm of what you would hear on mainstream radio. I'll leave that link in the description too. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and let me know down in the description, down in the comments, sorry. I get a lot of great comments from you guys, and I appreciate the feedback very much, especially when it comes to positive feedback. I delete haters for sure, but a lot of times when people comment stuff down below, I do try to integrate those things into the videos later, so so do let me know. Even if you just feel like talking about how you're doing and how your day has been, I want to hear that too. I will be posting, I think, one more weekly video before the new year. And then I am going to be working on some additional content. Last week was very busy. I did get all of the subscriber videos, and then also videos for the contest winners went out. So I decided not to post additional content last week because I was so busy with that. But I'm going to be trying to do some more videos this week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are well. It sounds like a lot of you are going to be having a great time leading up to the new year. Love all of you so much, and I really appreciate the support. And I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.